Get
Though
it.
this land is shrouded in pain and darkness,
Damn, that's already pretty.
teems with life.
No.
With forethought, we may bend life to our will
Yes?
to remake the world as we
What is
see
happening?
fit. But beware, nature protects itself.
What in the fuck is going on? Whoa. Those are cool. Yes. Synthesis. What in the what?
But do not forget, whatever you sow, you must harvest.
That didn't look friendly at all. I have no clue what's happening.
In the Harvest League, seek out the seed cache in every area you explore.
Okay.
Take its seeds through Oshabi's portal to the Sacred
I
Grove.
hate that. I wasn't expecting it, yes.
When they are ready for harvest, slaughter them and extract their life force.
What in the shit?
Use this life force to easily craft powerful items.
Whoa. Right, I have absolutely no clue what's going on. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea. It looks really pretty. That's cool. I hate that there's things that we need to pick up from the ground. It's like, I don't know, it's like synthesis. I hate that. It's like synthesis. Fucking hell. It's like synthesis and synthesis and blight.
Quinn viewers, fucking out. Out right now.
I do need those Quinn viewers out. I have no idea how to mute this chat. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, it's pretty much just synthesis and blind, right? Easy.
After a league of delirium intensity, things are getting
Focus
decidedly
up.
more cozy. No timers, no clear speed rush. It's time to farm, in Path of Exile's most literal sense of the word to date. In the Sacred Grove, we'll be able to grow our seeds into beautiful crops of monsters. This is Path of Exile after all. What, did you think we'd be harvesting vegetables? Monsters from seeds in the Grove will drop better loot than regular monsters, but the core reward for this league is from the crafting itself. The philosophy is that rather than processing a large number of rares to find good loot, players will be able to regularly craft themselves powerful upgrades. GGG is aware that if they want to explore toning back constant loot explosions, the crafting needs to be very powerful to compete. Crafting, for example, will include options to create new items with specific modifiers, add guaranteed modifiers to existing items, change sockets, transform currency, and other powerful options for us to discover. Each craft costs a set amount of life force, and unused life force can be condensed for irrigation of other seeds. So let's run through the basic how-to for green thumbing it up in Path of Exile Harvest.
I'm so
As you
confused.
proceed on your
I have
travels,
no idea what's going on.
collect seeds can also be stored in dedicated seed storage, so no need to clutter your stash. Players will have precise control over the danger of each fight as well. Of course, Gardening League is not the only thing coming to Path of Exile in this expansion. So let's take a look at the new and reworked skills, passive skill tree changes, and new and reworked uniques coming alongside Harvest.
Damn. That branch should look crazy, dog.
First up, two-handed melee is getting some much-needed love.
Nah, don't care.
Big, slow attacks have often found themselves at the short end of the stick despite their usage of really big sticks. Two-handed weapon types are getting buffed, and passive skill tree support is being improved. Several melee skills have also now been recategorized as slam skills and reworked, enabling further heavy-hitting support.
Never mind, I do
A lot of
care.
these changes will
going
help
all
one-handed
out.
weapons as well, but the focus here is on buffing two-handed attack styles. Warcries are also seeing a large host of changes. 4 new Warcry skills are being added, and the 3 existing ones are being overhauled. In general, Warcries are being made slower, but much more impactful, and more passive skill tree investment options will be available.
Damn.
Several Warcries also now have a new mechanic called Exert, which will make your next few attacks more powerful. Additionally, Warcries now take into account the power level of enemies rather than just how many are nearby. As a result, they will now be much more effective against bosses and other difficult monsters.
Oh.
One of the new Warcry skills is Seismic Cry. A fierce bellow knocks back nearby enemies and taunts them.
That's intense.
Seismic Cry grants a buff that makes it easier to stun enemies and exerts your next few slam attacks, giving them more area of effect and damage. Rallying Cry's rework aims at giving a lot more support damage potential.
Here we go.
Now, aside from the big stick melee, brand skills are also seeing some major new additions and changes.
Yeah,
Like
it's
other brand
shooting
skills,
at stuff.
Arcanist Brand can be placed on the ground and it'll attach itself to monsters. The kicker is that Arcanist Brand will trigger any other linked spells, so you'll now be able to turn almost any spell into a brand, even having it cast several different spells in sequence.
Okay.
Another new brand skill coming alongside Harvest is Penance Brand, which is a different take on the brand concept. When the Penance Brand attaches to an enemy, it starts building up energy and spreading it to other nearby enemies. When the brand is removed, the built-up energy explodes, dealing physical and lightning damage. Multiple Penance Brands will be able to build up energy more quickly, and the design of the skill will let you trigger explosions through brand recall, enemies dying, or brands expiring.
They really did go big dick. I was wondering. I was pretty sure that they're gonna go big dick, but they went big dick. I wonder how challenging the bosses are gonna be. Man, there are definitely some things that I really like a lot, but then there are some things that I don't. But the league itself looks pretty freaking cool. Synthesis 2.0. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for Synthesis 2.0. I mean, it's not quite that, but it's up there. I definitely think they're making a right move with the seeds being like on a separate thing. I like that a lot. I am very surprised that they're just, because like the way they're presenting it is that this fucking seed thing, the growth thing, is like a major aspect, but the way Ziggy clarified is that you don't have to actually enter this and do it right now. You can just leave and then do it like all at once outside. I really like that this is essentially like a combination of Metamorph and, I mean, I wouldn't imagine Blight, but like the fact that they're allowing you to create content and you have like an expectancy of what it's gonna do to you. I like that a lot. I really love the Metamorph for that. That if you fuck up, like you're just dead, and you did that to yourself. And this seems to be the same idea, so I'm a big fan. Yeah, it is definitely giving up pretty major bestiary vibes too with some of this stuff. Change a unique armor type into another unique armor of that type. Change a unique jewel into another unique jewel. Ooh, I'm gonna love that one. Change a unique ring, amulet, or belt into another unique item of that type. Augment an item with new influence modifier. Wow. Remove an influence modifier from an item and add a new influence modifier. Whoa. Set an item to 6 sockets. Set an item to 4 sockets. Set an item to 5 sockets. Okay. Oh man. Honestly, I like this a lot. Those are pretty cool. It's like an even more interesting way to actually fuck with fossils. That's like a lot more direct in this way, because you can target it. It's pretty cool. I mean, you can target fossils through biomes, I guess, but I feel like this just inherently works better. SSF? See, I don't really think this is going to be an SSF league at all. The same way a lot of people thought Bestiary is going to be an SSF league. It was an awful SSF league. It was an amazing trade league. And same for Synthesis. Synthesis actually did a much better job for it to be like an SSF thing, but I still think it was a much better trade league. From the looks of the bosses, honestly, and some of the abilities you can see, I feel like they're kind of... like, this looks very Talisman-like. Yeah, I would definitely say that. From like a visual clarity point of view, I have fucking no idea what the fuck they're doing. I cannot see anything. It is, they like completely gave up on the whole like gray on gray on gray and replaced it with just maximum rainbows, which is really crazy to me. And then also the two-handed stuff. It's so cool that they're reworking it. It seems like it might make it something that's impactful, but like full screen fucking blast AoE. It looks really ridiculous, honestly. Some things, 16 days by the way. Some things are looking very like too much, and some things are looking very, very good in general. I love the crafting. I think people are gonna hate it, but I'm gonna love it, so fuck them. I think yeah. Whoa. Quicksilver Flask, 78% increased duration, minus 1% this value when used. What? Like a dispensable Quicksilver? Yeah. Tribute to the goddess. It's time for the goddess to give her final verdict. Your fortune rests in her even hands. Whoa. Whoa!
We have you here.
Is that the real Chris Wilson?
How big a difference do you see between like someone just, I'm gonna say organically gardening, which is just like slapping things together kind of somewhat randomly without too much planning, versus someone who's like a Factorio god and loves these sort of like logistics management games and super optimizes their garden? Do you think it'll make a huge difference, or will just like their garden will look better?
Certainly looks better if you're tidy, but most of the benefit comes in when you're looking at higher tier seeds. Like if you're wanting to plant a tier 3 or the boss tier 4 above it, it requires quite a lot of irrigation requirements. You have to make sure that it's got life force of various different types distributed over it. It's got to be next to tier 3 seeds, which need their own life force and so on. And so that requires thinking a little bit for like 1 minute by one person who then posts a diagram of how you do it, and everyone else covers that, copies that. So it's slightly harder to grow the hardest bosses, but honestly, by the time you're getting to that, you're like well onto maps. You've already done so much gardening. It's not a, and to clarify there, when you're getting to the hardest bosses, you're well onto maps. Of course, you'll get tier 3 stuff earlier than that, but it's not kicking in particularly early. You certainly have plenty of opportunity to learn with tier 1 and 2 before it actually becomes more challenging.
Me kill getting a lot of trues and chat.
It sounds really cool. I like it a lot, honestly.
I feel personally offended.
Sure. So the way that people ended up using brands before was basically casting some powerful brands and letting them follow you around the map, using various tricks. Like, for example, when a brand fell off, it would fall at your feet, and brand recall, of course, would reset that and also update the duration eventually so that you never lost your brands. And then due to the Archmage stuff, if you expend a lot of mana right at the beginning of the area, then your really cheap brand recall drags these super damaging brands throughout the whole level with you, and you just spam brand recall as you run through the area and never really have to engage with any beyond
tricks.
that.
They're game mechanics.
So we've been careful here where we still want that build to work, but we want it to be more interactive. And so there's various small changes. And honestly, I'd rather wait for the guys to post a manifesto or whatever, but I'll summarize and take it with a grain of salt that the detailed explanation is probably better than my memory here. So the first thing we're doing is making it so that brand recall inherits part of the cost of the brands that you're using. So if you're casting incredibly expensive brands, then it's somewhat expensive to recall, so that Archmage has some mana use after they've cast their big ones at the beginning of the map. There's also changes to how brand recall works with duration, so that it can, it's still good to use, but it's not going to mean that you can drag the same brand throughout the entire map. The intention is that you do recast your brands occasionally. In addition, when they drop off, they drop off to the...
Look what I'm looking at in my other monitor, dude. This is not... Come on, bro. And yeah, the passive skill tree improvements. I mean, here it's a little bit cut off, but if you take a look at this, you've got some really noticeable ones. Glancing blows over here. Yeah, good Supreme Ego. Got like another thing here. Eternal Youth. That's pretty interesting too. Man, I don't know why they want to fuck more with stuns. I feel like they're just gonna drive stuns to insanity. Like, they keep adding stun stuff. They're gonna have to nerf it eventually. Well, soon, actually. The brand recall change makes me cry. See, this guy's casting his brand on every screenshot. You know why? Because brand recall's trash now. I don't know why they... What the fuck? It's not even gonna feel like brands anymore, dude. I seriously worry about the recall change. I mean, I know that they've talked about how they're gonna like monitor it and everything, but this one's a really interesting one. Like that it's gonna spawn more frequently depending on the amount of extra content in a map. I do really like what they're doing with cluster jewels. they were talking about how there's gonna be like, you're probably gonna have like 7 or 8 cluster jewels by the time you're done with the story. I hate Delirium, and I hate the fact that cluster jewels are still tied to it, but yeah, I mean, no, I am surprised that they're adding Delirium. I feel like it doesn't bother most people, so it kind of makes sense, but then yeah, keeping cluster jewels tied to it, I really would have loved to hear the explanation for that. I mean, I trust them with it, obviously, but I really would have liked to understand more, you know? It's looking to be a fun league. I'm definitely a lot more excited for this one than I was for Delirium. I don't know. It seems like Synthesis, it seems like Bestiary, and that's kind of what I wanted. I mean, it's pretty much what I've wanted out of the league. As long as the patch is good, then I think I'm gonna have happy times. But I think they've been doing great stuff lately, and I've been really happy with the way they've been managing the skill tree and then cluster jewels on top of that. I think they've been doing really well, so I have pretty high hopes that this is gonna be really, really, really good. And then also revamping the skill tree right now, overall, I'm seeing it as mostly positive stuff. And I am a little concerned about this really breaking the game. I am surprised that they're adding something like this because they feel so strongly about their standard player base. The fact that they're adding things that are just, oh yeah, they're practically insane. It's like Chris said, all of the stuff that we've seen is just completely ridiculous. Then yeah. And then the Uber Lab, yeah, it's looking to be a really great league, I think. I'm very, very optimistic.